so much for joining. And today is the 12th day of April, 2026. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your presence. Today, we're going to be talking about something very, very relatable as usual. We always do relatable stuff whenever I'm on set, every Sunday by 8 p.m. And here is another day. So I'm just going to give you about 30 seconds to share this link with a friend, share it with someone, and this is free content. So, I mean, the least you can do is to share it and let people participate in what you're participating in. Today, we're going to be talking about a very interesting and relatable topic called anchor in anticipation of the storm. It's not just relatable, it's not just interesting, it's also going to be helpful and insightful because these are things that will be going on around you in your life that you probably have not taken seriously. And of course, my name is Dozie. If you're joining for the first time, I'm also known as Chuks in the tech space. But today, I'm not in the capacity of a tech enthusiast or a tech practitioner. I'm right here to drop one or two things I know and I believe could be very helpful to you. All right. So let's go ahead. Today we're talking about anchor, like I've already said, in anticipation of the storm. Now, we're going to go with a lot of analogies because I'm someone who always likes to come up with analogies. And the reason I like to come up with analogies is because I believe that if someone can find what you're explaining relatable, then they will be able to understand what you're saying better. All right, so let's go with this. An anchor, every ship has an anchor, right? A ship can travel around the world without an anchor. You can travel worldwide without an anchor as long as there is no issue while you're on that journey. You can travel without an anchor. Now, what is the guarantee that there will be no issue on that journey? Zero. There's no guarantee that there will be no issue on the journey. And so, although an anchor does not ensure that the ship is moving, it is also something you have to keep on standby just in case you need it. All right. Now, when we are talking about a ship, what is the work of an anchor in a ship? So, say a sailor has driven up to a point where he, for whatever reason, has to stay put. He has to keep the ship floating in a particular position on the sea. Now, this is not a dock where you can set ropes to hold the ship in place. You're on the sea where there is land out of sight on all sides. And so the only land that the ship has closest to it is the seabed. All right. And so he has to drop something called an anchor. Now, the work of that anchor is to make sure that when the waves come and they shake the ship as much as they want, the ship remains relatively in the same position. It doesn't go off course, it does not shift to the left or the right. And by the way, the ship is not moving at that time. That's the job of the anchor. All right. Now, like I said earlier, you can travel without your anchor present, no issues. All right, you can travel without your anchor present without issues as long as you don't need it during the course of the journey. All right, anchor is one of those things that it seems like it's nice to have until you actually need it, that you understand how important it is to have it. Now, this is one thing you should understand. before every storm, there is always silence. Everything looks okay, right? Everything looks normal, like silence, peace. There's no problems before every storm. It's always as peaceful can be. It's always very peaceful, all right? And it is mostly deceptive. So when everywhere is quiet and you're having all the money you want to have, you're having all the right relationships and all of that, everything is going perfectly smooth, you may have this false sense of security, like nothing can ever go wrong, right? It's very normal, but everything feels fine until it isn't. Everything will always look like it's okay until it isn't. Like, you're just going to wake up one day and boom, you're like, is everything in my life, did they do a meeting while I was sleeping? Why is my car getting bad today? And today is also the day I have to urgently travel for something. And my job is kind of shaking at this point. Like, why is everything seeming to? And this girl I've been dating since is now she's oh my god, what's going on? And so everything is as if they want to go chaos, go out of place at the same time, right? And so I'm just saying that the moments before a storm is usually very peaceful. Usually very peaceful. All right. It's very important for you to understand also that storms are inevitable. They are inevitable. Nobody, I've said this when I was talking about, I think, the topic life of shit. I said it, and I said, there is nobody that you admire and there's nobody that you look up to that did not have a crazy period in their life at one point or the other. And so no matter how much you admire them, it's also important for you to understand that at some point in their lives they had their own struggles. And those struggles I'm talking about, I'm referring to them here as storms. And storms, aka struggles, are inevitable. You must meet them at some point in life. You must meet them. And so I'm going to give you a couple of points that I think you should note. Number one is that life is going to shake you at some point. I've mentioned that, and nobody is exempted. Nobody. Sometimes it comes in different forms. This is why nobody is exempted. Sometimes it comes in form of failure. Other times it comes in form of loss. Other times it comes in form of confusion. And randomly, it also comes in form of pressure. All right? It's not a matter of if. It's a matter of when. It's going to come. You can't avoid it. You can't even these days it's becoming more frequent, although not everything you go through is actually a storm, right? But it's becoming more frequent because of the kind of world we live in today. You will face storms, you will face struggles, you will face difficulties. It's coming. Some have already passed through their difficult phases, some are still getting to it. It's going to come. You can't run away from it. All right. And so one of the major issues I've noticed when it comes to this issue of storms is that people prepare too late. You prepare too late. Now, I'll give this analogy of a student or students in class. And so a semester, I know, lasts about 12 weeks. And your teacher or lecturer, depending on what level of education you are, has taught you about 8 weeks. And then one morning, he randomly walks into the class and says, hello, everyone, tear out a sheet of paper. And as students, you don't want to hear that. And the teacher just says, we are taking an unplanned random test and it's 30 marks. What's the next thing the students are going to do? They'll start flipping through their books like, oh my God, hey, what is photosynthesis again? And the moment you're doing that, if you like, read anything you want to read in that 10 seconds before you tear out a sheet of paper. It's not entering anywhere. It's not going anywhere. And the reason is because you did not plan ahead. And so no matter how smart you are, you only have your preparation and your retentive memory at that phase of that test that you are facing. And that's how storms are. Nobody ever knows that, okay, in the next 5 years, I won't have a job. Nobody knows that this person I'm dating now is going to break up with me next week. Nobody knows that, right? Nobody knows that next 2 weeks they are going to lose someone. You don't know that. And so it is very important that you understand that if you refuse to prepare when the warning signs are not there, you will eventually have to start preparing when the warning signs show up. And there's nothing wrong with preparing when the warning signs show up. The only problem is that when the warning signs show up, it might be too late. That's the only problem. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So it's not a problem of preparation. It is a timing problem. It is a timing problem. And so most people wait until things go wrong before they start planning. You know, it's very difficult. The church I attend, we're told, and I'm not someone who listens to sermons and just swallows it like that. I also try to understand it for myself. And we're told that the best time to pray, for instance, is when you don't have problems. I'm telling you, the best time to pray is when you don't have problems. You know, something happened to me at the end of 2023 or 2024, if I'm not mistaken. And that stuff broke me throughout the first and second quarter of 2025. My prayer life shattered. Everything. And I'm not saying for 1 or 2 weeks, it was a marathon. And the reason is because your state of mind can decide if you are even going to be able to act on what is happening or not. And that's why any country, when there's a fire, they call the firefighters, because the firefighters are those people who have prepared on how to handle fires using fake fires even when there's no fire. And so by the time there's now a real fire, all they have to do is to remember what they have learned, is to remember all the practices they have done. You, that is just a normal day-to-day citizen that doesn't really care much about safety, you see a fire and you carry water and you pour on it because that's what you know. And we all know that different fires have their different approaches to put them out. And so there are some fires that if you pour water, you are actually, is as good as taking fuel and adding to the fire, because that is not the right approach for that kind of fire. All right. So preparing too late puts you at a disadvantage. You don't build stability, all right? In the middle of a storm, you review what you have already built. You don't build stability in the midst of a storm. When the storm comes, all you have to do is to review what you have already built. All right? Now, we have mentioned what storms are. We have mentioned how they can show up. And we have mentioned that no one is excluded from storms. So, what is an anchor? Remember the ship analogy I gave to you? Let's talk about the anchor a little bit more so that we can blend everything together, because it's not good to focus on telling patients what their symptoms are without giving them a medication to handle the sickness. And so now I'm giving you I'm prescribing a medication for you. What is an anchor? I'm going to explain what an anchor is using five concepts. All right. So lock in. Number one is mindset. Your anchor is nothing without your mindset. And it is very determinant when we're talking about pressure. Pressure. How does your mind work when you're under pressure? You know, when I was preparing for this topic, something came to me. And what came to me is there is a reason why when there's an emergency in a public place, they choose to save children and women first. And the reason why they take them out first, according to what came to me, is that children are very unstable in their minds. A child can tell you right now, I'm not your friend again. I'm not going to play with you again. And you tell them, oh, sorry, come. And they are good. It's like nothing ever happened. They are good. A child can tell you, I'm not going to do this again. I'm not going to steal again. I'm not going to. The next moment, they are doing it. They are very unstable. And so, the reason why they also take women out is because, please pay attention, guys. I don't want anybody to drag me. The reason why they take women out is that now you've taken the children out. Who is going to take care of the children when they are away from whatever danger that is out there? The women. All right. So now that they have taken out every source of distraction, the children, and then the women who are going to take care of the children outside, now the people with a more stable mindset, the men, now face the issue at hand and then start looking out for a solution. And most times, it doesn't matter what the outcome of that problem is. The men are also there to serve as sacrificial lamb, because if they don't solve it, then they die there, depending on what kind of problem it is. And so your mindset is very, very important. Your mindset is very important. How you think when you're under pressure, your mindset is very important. And so you must have a positive mindset. You must have a mindset that tells you that this is just a phase. Because if you're going through financial crisis and your solution is to dive into activities that is going to put you in problem, you may come out from the financial crisis in a very short time, but then you live the rest of your life on the run. Is it worth it? No. So your mindset is very important. The next thing is habits. Habits are some of the things that keep on, like, you've done it so much that they keep on showing up over and over again. Another analogy. I was at the dentist one particular time, and guess what happened? Someone was before me, some set of young guys, and this guy was telling his friend how the last time he went to the dentist, they gave him anesthetics over and over and over, about 2 or 3 to 4 times, and it wasn't really taking effect. It's because he had a habit of drinking and smoking, all kind of things. And so his body had adapted to not taking. If you're a medical practitioner, you understand what I'm saying. There is a level of intake of drugs and alcohol that you are going to be on. There's a level you'll be on. And drugs don't work on you the same way. And so that's why there's some drugs they want to give you in the hospital. They ask you, do you smoke? Do you drink? They're not asking you because it's amicable. It's not amicable. They want to know how to proceed with your medication. Meanwhile, when I stepped into the room, I was given just 1 dose of the same anesthetics that was given to this guy, and it worked. because I don't drink and I don't smoke. And so it all boils down to what? Habits. We received the same solution, we received the same treatment, but the results were different because of what? Habits. So your habits are also important parts that build up your anchor. Number one is your mindset. Number two is your habits. Number three, we're talking about values. There are people I know. I don't okay, I don't know them, but I've seen, I've heard. Now they are angry at somebody. Why will you talk to me like that? Am I your mate? Do you think? And they are so furious with this person. And the person in the middle of that rage tells you, I assigned your account number. Is that why you're angry? And this person forgets everything about the anger they just had now. And you're now wondering, is it that you were not so mad, or what exactly is the issue? Like, how did you go from not wanting anything to do with this person, and just because now they want to give you money, you have thrown all your convictions and your decisions aside? What are your values? What are your values? What are your values? All right. Then, of course, your faith and your belief systems. The Bible says, without faith, it is impossible to please God. See, if you don't believe in something, right? Let's even say you don't want to believe in God. If you don't believe that a particular stage of life is going to come and pass, you are in trouble. You know why? First of all, there's no reason why you shouldn't believe in God. I mean, because if you've taken out time to look at your life, seeing the things you have, the results and all of that, and then compare it with your effort, you will know that obviously this is not coming from me 100%. It's coming from somewhere else. But let's even come flat. If you don't have faith that a situation, you don't have any belief system, you're in the category of people that just believe that whatever is Sarah, whatever is going to be will be. You're in trouble, because you're not going to have any motivation to address anything that's happening in your life. You're always going to just assume that everything that is happening because it was destined to happen. And so the motivation to handle any of those things will never be there. And of course, number 5 is your cycle, whatever you want to call it. The people that are around you. Look at the life of different people in the Bible. The son of David got into trouble and was eventually killed by his brother Absalom because of his friend. I mean, he was responsible for the action he took, but where did he get the advice from? His friend. Say, call your sister, tell her that you're not feeling fine. Tell your father first that you're not feeling fine, then let your sister bring food for you. Cycle. David's life was also spared. I know we believe in the providential nature of God, where we say that even if Jonathan did not help David at some point, that God would have still found a way to save David's life, right? I'm saying that God's strategy to save David's life through a particular season was Jonathan. The people you have around you are very, very important. If you're honest enough to yourself, you know that there are some times in the past where you have gotten good things in life because of the people around you. And there are some times too, no matter how little, you have gotten into trouble because of the people around you. It tells you that the people around you are very important. And I say it As a young man, you want to get married. You don't focus on only the person you are getting married to. Focus on her friends. Hey, drag me if you want. As a young lady, you want to get married. The guy that you are dating is the only person in your group, in his group of friends that has sense. Run. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. You are in trouble. You are in real trouble. I'm not joking. You may think I'm joking, but I'm not joking. If the person you want to marry in his or her group of friends is only that person that you are interested in that has sense, run. Because when they have issues with you, I'm not saying the person doesn't have sense, but when they have issues in life, whether it's with you or not, the first set of people you fall back to are your friends, the people around you. Most times, even before you pray to God. And so, if your first Google, if the first Google you are going to talk to don't have sense, if the first Google you are going to talk to are not reasonable, then you have to pay attention to that. When everything around you is unstable, whatever remains unshaken is your anchor. Whatever is left that has not changed positions, that's what you mention as your anchor. And so, just to recap: mindset, habits, values, faith / belief systems, and then cycle. All right. Now, there is something I want to talk about very quickly. We won't waste too much time on this, and that's the drifting. Drifting. You know, when a ship is on the sea and the anchor is not down yet, but the ship is not moving either, the waves are going to hit it left, right, left, right. And if that continues for quite some time, the ship could face another direction or could shift. When it shifts like that, you can say the ship has drifted or the ship has gone off course. In life, drifting is very, very dangerous. And I'll point out some things that are dangerous about drifting. When you're drifting, it means that you have no anchor. It means that you have no plans. So number one is that you're going to panic. You will panic. There was a video of a firefighter I saw. He had saved people from a certain story building and he was now trapped in the balcony and he was trying to come out. And so all the windows around him were falling and this guy was just standing there calm. I've also watched another video where residents were trapped in a similar way, and this was many floors high. And out of fear, some of them started jumping down to their deaths. So once you panic, the result is very unpredictable. Once you panic, the results is very unpredictable. And that's why you have to train. That's why you have to prepare. Because when you're prepared, your panic level reduces. Your panic level reduces. All right? And then, obviously, you chase quick relief because now you're not prepared. You don't know what's going on. And so you're looking for the easiest way out. You're looking for the easiest way out. And that may not be the best case that you may not get the best results by following the easiest way out. All right. Now, you also lose direction. And of course, when you have lost direction, you don't even know where you're going to anymore. And when you don't know where you're going to anymore, almost all your responses are going to be reactive. Now you don't know what to act on, and so you're reacting to whatever you see. And your response when you react is very, very different from your response when you actually act. Because when you're acting, you are in control. When you're reacting, you're just responding to what is happening around you. So when you're not anchored, anything that happens around you, it throws you off balance. Throws you off balance. So it's very dangerous to drift. Now we are going to talk about something which I think you need to know when you are getting to the point of battles. I said at the beginning that the moments of silence you have are moments that usually are very synonymous with before a storm. But now what I want to highlight is that those moments that are quiet, those moments where everything looks like it's going well, those are your preparation seasons. Those are your preparation seasons. It's not the time for you to start cruising around. It's not the time for you to start living large. It's not the time for you to, show everybody that you have arrived. It's the time for you to prepare. It is the time for you to prepare. And so peace is not for complacency. When the journey is still smooth, that is when you plan. If this happens, this is what I'll do. If that happens, this is what I'll do. When there's still peace. You don't build a storm shelter during a storm. You build it before a storm. So what you build now, it determines what you're going to stand on when the storm comes. You don't build structure when problem comes. Even if it's possible to do that, it is more difficult to do that. It's more difficult. So you have to be very strategic to make sure that whatever you're doing, you are able to have foresight and say, okay, this is going to happen. This may happen. Am I prepared for it? And so the quiet seasons of your life, they are not breaks. It's not very, okay, we're on break now. Let's just relax and enjoy whatever is happening. No, that is the time where you prepare yourself and say, okay, now things are going well. How do I invest my money? How do I invest my time? How do I invest my emotions? How do I invest in my future? When you are emotionally stable, go into a relationship. If you have gotten to that stage of your life, don't wait till you are now heartbroken or till you are now desperate for marriage. That's when you want to start looking for a relationship. You will not open your eyes. You will not. You will not open your eyes. So it's very important that you understand. Of course, you know that a topic like this is not going to end well without reflections. You must let's go through some reflections, and I'm going to give you some questions that you can reflect on. I wrote some down, so I'm just going to read them to you. So one thing I want you to reflect on, as usual, you don't have to answer it here. You can take out time to think about it. So number one is, what am I building right now? Like as we speak, in this phase of my life, what am I building? And of course, ask yourself this question too. If things go wrong today, am I ready? If I wake up tomorrow morning without a job, am I ready? Like, what will I do? If you wake up tomorrow without a relationship, you had one today, but tomorrow there's no relationship. Would you just collapse and go into an endless depression? I'm not saying that when you go into a relationship, you should anticipate for when the relationship will end. What I'm saying is build yourself up to a point. And when a relationship ends around you, even the person that is leaving you will know that they have missed something. And you, that you were interested in the relationship and the relationship ended, you still have things that you can do in your daily life. Your whole life was not just about the relationship. I don't like talking about relationships because it's a very sensitive topic to talk about. And the reason it's sensitive is not because we don't all know logic. It's because everybody's experience in relationships, if 100 people come here to talk about their experience in relationship, you will hear 100 different experiences. Nobody shares the same experiences when it comes to relationships. You can share different sections, different areas, but the general story of my relationship can never match anybody else's relationship. And so it's a very sensitive topic to talk about, because if I say something here, half of the people that listen to me will agree. The other half will say, how can you say that? That means you don't even know what you're talking about. So it's a very sensitive topic to talk about. And of course, the last question I wanted to ask yourself is, what is currently anchoring me? Be it mindset, be it belief system, be it your cycle, be it your habits, be it your values. What is currently anchoring me? The storm will come. That's not the issue. The question is not, will it come? Will there be a storm? The question is, when the storm comes, would you be anchored or will you be carried? Will you be carried away or will you be anchored? When the storm comes, are you going to be anchored or will you be carried away? Thank you so much for joining. To be honest, I'm very honored to have you guys listen to me. And whenever I share things like this, it always, believe me, if there are 100 people listening to me at any time, just know that there are 101 people, because I'm also listening to myself as I speak. And I'm like, that advice you gave, you know that it's just yourself you're talking about. But I mean, what can I say? Thank you so much for joining. Remember to share the link, share this live, drop a like for me. It's encouraging to see comments also, not just on the live stream, but on the actual video. It's very, very encouraging for me to see that. All right. Thank you so much for joining. Remember, I'll be here every Sunday by 8 p.m. It is an honor to speak with you guys, because I know I'm speaking to a very smart set of audience. So I'm very careful with the things I say and how I present things I say. All right. Thank you so much. My name remains Chuks. And remember, the topic we spoke about today is anchor in anticipation of the storm. Thank you so much.